Hey, what's going on? This is Carlo at 4GQ TV, and we have a very special interview today with a very special guest, and I'll introduce in just a moment. But with me is Paris as well, from the Marvel Group and Xbox, as you know. But the guest today is Queen Noveen. And how's it going?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited. I've been doing a lot of interviews for Redfall. It's been really thrilling, but yeah, I'm doing great.
That's
Awesome.
awesome. Uh, it's really exciting to see that you're going to be in an upcoming game, and on your IMDb, you've been in a lot of other stuff as well.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you, how did you get started in all of this acting, voice acting, hosting?
Yeah, well, when I was younger, you know how your parents kind of start you out in like different things and different sports and classes just to kind of see what you like.
Mhm.
Well, I got basically bit by the acting bug, and I've been doing community theater when I was younger. Then I went to a musical theater school, musical theater college, and did that 2 years in New York, and then transferred here to LA and got my bachelor's degree in fine arts. So I completed my 4 years. After that, kind of just did short films and little things around LA to kind of build my reel and resume. But over the course of all of that, I've been having people all my life telling me, oh, you should get into voiceover. You have a really great voice. You should check it out. So after I graduated college, I was like, okay, I gotta just jump into voiceover classes and see what this is all about. And took classes for about a year. After that, I signed with an agent and just been booking different projects ever since. And I've been loving it. It's like a talent I didn't know I had at the time, but it's natural talent that I'm just building upon. So um, it's basically how I got into it.
Nice, nice. I bet that you probably wasn't even thinking about voice acting, right?
Oh, yeah, I wasn't. I didn't even know really what it was to begin with at first. And when I was in college, we didn't have voiceover classes, so that wasn't
Mm,
really a thing that was like this is also part of the entertainment industry. Um, so I'm glad that I finally jumped into that
jumped
eventually.
into it, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's good to see, not just the fact that you're a woman, but a person of color to lead and be participating in what's coming out for the future and all the stuff that you've done in the past. So that's good. I'm so excited to see that in the industry today. So you're what we call trailblazing and setting the tone for others to follow. So congratulations and kudos to you for sure.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
congratulations. I think that is a very important thing because I think, especially in voice acting, um, we've seen in the past that it's kind of been the same people over and over, and to trailblaze and make a difference in that kind of community is amazing, and you inspire a lot of more people um, coming up from the same background, and that, I mean, that's just really exciting to see, and
Yeah.
I'm so happy to see that.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate
Nice,
that.
nice. Yeah, because you were what? Well, you were in Friday the 13th.
Yep.
And you did some work for Red Dead Redemption, right? I believe.
Yeah, so Red Dead was my first video game that I ever booked, and
Mhm.
Friday the 13th was the second. But Friday the 13th was the first one to come out because with Red Dead, I didn't even know I was auditioning for Red Dead to begin with. Sometimes when you do these auditions, they don't tell you what it is. They either
Right.
do and you sign an NDA, or it's like under a code name and it's like you'll find out when it's out. So that's basically what happened. It showed up on my IMD like years later, and I was like, oh, that's what I did. Okay, cool. Now I'll put it on my resume.
There you
Like,
go.
I had no idea.
You're like, "And I gotta go play the game to go listen to my voice. Tell the family members.
Exactly.
So,
Awesome.
one of our newest panel members, she goes by the name I Mrs. Voorhees, as you could tell, but her
Yeah.
nickname is V. She loves Friday the 13th.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much. It's really nice to know that people still love the game so much, even though it came out like years ago, but it's still really popular. So
So
definitely
popular.
hello.
Yeah.
That's hello. Thanks for playing the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see people streaming it on Twitch and stuff like that. So it's pretty funny to see it. It's an interesting game, right? You run around, you got to run from Jason, so it's like you got to hide.
And you got to try to get the keys or the whatever you need for the engine to get out of there before Jason finds you.
It's so stressful.
Or you could...
I actually got the game, and it's just so stressful. Like, I play as myself, obviously, but like trying to find the keys. Then you got like, all right, I got the keys. Here's the car. Crap, the car needs gas. I'm gonna run all over the map to find gas. Get out there before Jason does. And sometimes it's one car and then one boat, and it's like it's a lot and stressful, but it's fun.
You know, it's interesting that you say that you play the game, because I know that as a voice actor, you're probably looking at the game and you're judging yourself. And do you ever do that? Do you ever catch yourself? You're like, how did I sound in this when you're playing the game?
Yeah, sometimes when I listen to it, it's still so surreal, because it's like, oh, okay, I did just say that, and like 10,000 people also heard it as well.
Right.
On a streaming side, or like in a video game that you buy at Walmart or Target or something. It's so weird. And sometimes when I hear lines, I'm like, oh, I said it that way. Oh, that was pretty good. Okay. So, because we recorded this years ago, so sometimes I'll still impress myself when I hear like the final cuts of these, and I'm like, okay, Noveen, good job. That was pretty good.
Do you still go back and play Friday the 13th?
Not as often, but every now and then I will. Sometimes I'll hop on and let a few fans know, or I'll tweet it out and they'll jump on with me. And a lot of them are just like in shock. They're like, oh my God, I get to play with her. Oh my gosh, she's talking to me right now. And I'm like, you guys are so cute. Like, no, I'm a normal person.
Next time that you do that, definitely let us know, because I know V would probably love to hop in with you sometime.
Oh yeah. Yes, of course, I'll totally do that. But I love hopping on every now and then and playing with people. I think it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So you'll be talking to him twice, right? You'll be talking to him to the headset, and the game will be talking.
The game.
Exactly. Exactly. You got the keys. You gotta
go. You got the keys. Like, okay, hold up. Was that you or the game, right?
Exactly. Right. Jason's here.
So that brings me to another question. How did you get involved with the E Network?
So with that, my agent is the one who submits me to auditions. And then when I send the auditions in, and depending on what comes back, that's what I book. However, with E, it was actually a few rounds of auditions. I didn't really know much about being the voice of a network or the audition that it entailed. I was still kind of getting into voiceover at the time, like different projects that you could book and everything like that. But I didn't know that like being the voice of a network and having that kind of job was a huge deal. So I did a few auditions over the course of a few months. And then when my agent had called me one day, she was like, okay, are you sitting down right now? I was like, oh my God, yes. I was like, this is either good news or bad news. And I was so scared. She was like, you got the part of E Network. You are the voice of E, da 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 da. Here are the details. And I was like, okay, from how she's like reacting right now, I'm like, okay, this must be a big thing. And later on, as time went on, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm the voice of E Network. All my other voiceover peers were like, oh, that is a huge deal. And I was like, oh, okay, so this is not a common thing that happens in the voiceover industry. I didn't know. So I learned over time, and I was like, wow, well, I'm super grateful to have gotten this opportunity to be the voice of E Network. And it's a huge deal, and I'm just very grateful and glad that I got it early on in my career. So it's been crazy. It's been a whirlwind, but it's been great voicing the network for them. And that's still so surreal, hearing my voice on that too.
Yeah. So like, you're on the E Network, you're doing the voiceovers, and we got to talk about this, because I remember seeing you on an episode of Ellen. So how was that? How was that experience? You know, Ellen, she's huge. You know, she's the queen of daytime TV, right? So
yeah, that was another crazy moment in my life. So in LA, they have different TV shows and sets that you can go on, and they just need audience members. And Ellen was one of the shows that I really wanted to get on, and I've been trying to get tickets to her show for months, maybe even a year, and finally got in. and I was just chosen to be an actual audience member, and got on her show. And there was one moment where she was like, okay, so who wants to play a game called What's in the Box? And I was like, oh, I want to play, me. Of course, with everyone else is jumping, but apparently I was like slightly crazier because she noticed me. And she came up to me, we played the game. I won $500 to her Ellen shop, and then $1,000 Nordstrom gift card. And that was insane. I was like, this is such a cool day. Oh my gosh. And so after that, about a week or so later, her reps called me. We're like, hey, we loved you on the show. We'd love to have you come back. And we want to know what you bought with the $500 Ellen shop gift card. So we want you to do a commercial of what you bought. So they invited me back to the show. I got to watch the show, and they'd be like, okay, you're going to do the commercial after. So kind of preserve your voice, preserve your energy and stuff. So here I am, like almost at the end of the show, like, okay, it's gonna be my time to do whatever they want to do soon. And Ellen's up there, she's like, okay, 2 weeks ago, we surprised an audience member, and like clips of me from the week before is like on the big screen behind her. And I was like, oh. And she's like, Noveen, come on down. I'm like, whoa! This is crazy. So she did a full-on interview with me, which I was not expecting, and got to read off the teleprompter to do like a mini promo for her Ellen shop. And in my head, I was like, this is what you guys are talking about, you little tricksters. And then another $500 Ellen shop gift card, and I was like, this is dope. And they're like, all right, you're good, you can head back in the audience. And I was like, wow, that was a great surprise. Here I am thinking it's over, and Ellen is like, all right, we're on the last segment now. Actually, there's one more thing I forgot to do. Noveen, come on back down. And I was like,
here we go again.
Like, I was like, is it like my birthday? Like, did I win something else? I have no idea what was going on. So she's having me read off the teleprompter again, and I end up introducing my own brand new car, 2017 Chevrolet Equinox, reading the teleprompter, and I'm like, oh, why am I telling you all about Chevy? Because Ellen's giving me the car that's right behind me. And she takes the mic away, the doors slowly open, turn around, and there's my brand new car.
Wow. That is amazing.
That's so much.
That's just perfect karma right there. That's just like bam, bam, bam. That's just you can't make that up. You cannot make that up, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And when she was like asking about like, because she asked about your life and how all that is. And I didn't win the car as a lot of people think. I never played a game to win the car. Like a brief synopsis of my stories. I was working at a theater in Hollywood, and we would get tips, but I would never keep the tips. I didn't really like doing that. So I would go out on Hollywood Boulevard, buy food, and hand it out to the homeless. That's the way I wanted to kind of give back and do something positive. And at the time, I basically lost my car because the engine was just out. It was old. It was shutting off at stoplights. It was super unsafe. So I was taking the subway and bus everywhere and just hustling in LA. So she really saw the goodness in me of giving back, and she decided to give me a car to replace that and to kind of continue doing my good deeds. And I still do that to this day. I'm just not someone who records it and puts it up on social media to kind of get that praise. I'm not that kind of person. I still give back and do what I do on my own to help others out. But that was a crazy experience, and I'm super grateful for that.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That is like an unbelievable story. That's like all shocking. I'm in shock that happened to you.
I'm in shock too. Oh my God. And I still have the car. She's in the garage.
Nice.
So as you're reading it, oh, sorry, go ahead, Paris.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, just a reoccurring event, right? You start, you think it's over, like, oh, that was amazing. Yeah. They're like, hey, come back. You're like, okay, all right.
Exactly.
Then after they get the car, you're like, okay, do I get to come back again? Sort of. It's Ellen, do you need anything for me to do? Because I will do it.
Anything else. They did have me come back a few months later, but I think it was a few months later or a year later. It was on her Ellen's Game of Games show, and I got to compete on that in the first season. And let me tell you, they still don't tell you what you're doing. So I was sore, so sore the very next day because it was like a physical kind of obstacle course. And I was like, oh, Ellen, I love you, but I'm literally dying here.
Yeah, their
Oh
games are
man.
pretty interesting because they hit the button, people just fall. I'm like, whoa.
Yes, that was so fun. That was so fun falling. That was so fun. Man.
That's definitely that's like a once in a lifetime unique experience. Now, my wife didn't believe me that we were talking to the Voice of E network tonight. And now when I tell her about the Ellen story, she's going to be even more in shock because she's probably watched every single episode of Ellen. So
Oh.
when I say what you just told us, she's going to be like, nah.
Yeah.
I watched that. I saw it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, congratulations to you, and thank you for being such a charitable person. Giving back to the community. You're giving your tips away. That's just that shows a lot of I wouldn't say courage, but just more of just like a true human, right? You're just doing some good things out there, and I really appreciate that. We give back too, and I try to as much as I possibly can, and it's sort of like you get to a certain position and you're like, why not give back? If it's either through a campaign or whatever, try to help others that are in need. So that's awesome. I really do appreciate that for sure.
thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. And then he had a question too about reading.
Harlow.
I'm curious about
me? Yeah. I had a question about like I was just, what did it feel like though? Like when you were reading that teleprompter about that car, right? And then you're like, why am I reading this? Oh, it's because the car, like, what was that like? Did your voice kind of like stumble for a moment? Were you like, is this real?
Yeah, it didn't really stumble. And the thing is, Ellen had been surprising me all day, basically for the past 2 months up to that point. And I wasn't expecting to call me up again that very last time. So as I'm reading something on teleprompter, for some reason to me, it didn't click. It didn't click that, okay, you're talking about a car. Ellen likes to give stuff away. She might be giving you a car. It didn't click at all because there's so much going on when you're put on the spot. Mm-hmm. And Ellen's just surprising you left and right. Your brain doesn't have time to catch up and process. But I get how other people like watching it. They'd be like, oh, she's going to give her a car, obviously. Well, it's like, there's a million things happening for me right now, and you guys are just sitting on your couch. So it didn't click to me at all until the very end. If you watch it, you'll see me say, now, why am I telling you all of this? Because Ellen's giving me the card that's right behind me. And I slow down. That's where it clicks at the very, very end, where she had to basically spell it out for me. And I was like, oh, it's going down now. Okay.
Yes. Like,
That night when you got home, you must have had so many text messages, phone calls.
I couldn't even talk about it for like a week.
Oh yeah,
I couldn't talk about it for a week because we filmed it earlier and then it came out like the week after. And
wow.
I only told my parents. That was the only people I could tell. I only told my parents. I was like, do not say anything. Do not put it on social media. Wait till it comes out. Once it came out, oh my gosh.
Phone just blowing up. I can't respond to everybody.
Like, yeah. Oh my gosh. It was
phone calls. That's great.
Yeah. I was like, yep, I got the car.
Nice. So how's your day to day, fighting through COVID, and how are you able to continue in the voice acting game right now? Are you doing anything from home, and how's that going for you?
Well, luckily for me and other people in the voiceover world, most of us do everything from home. So when COVID did hit, it didn't affect me at all. I mean, the only way it really did is like, obviously couldn't go outside with anyone. I couldn't see friends and anything like that. But as far as my job, I was still doing voiceover, still doing it at home. I have a studio in my closet that I created. And the scripts kept rolling in, the auditions still kept rolling in, the bookings still kept rolling in. Everything pretty much stayed the same with me career-wise, which is very awesome and a very good thing for me. I'm grateful for that because I know a lot of people did end up losing their jobs and careers in this difficult time. But I'm very thankful that this is something that I can do from home and pretty much do from anywhere in the country. You don't really need to go in, which is awesome. So it's been good for me. In fact, like the bookings actually came in twice as much than it normally did. So that was really awesome to see. Yeah, the pandemic treated me well in that way. So I'm grateful for that.
Awesome. Yeah, that's good to hear. I was just gonna ask, I think I heard your voice in a commercial, right? Did you do a commercial?
What kind of
commercial?
I've done some, so I'm not sure what you're
I swear I saw some commercial. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Was there a commercial that you did? I don't know.
I've done well, I have 2 McDonald's voiceover commercials out right now. It's on the radio, they're specifically radio ads. So maybe you might have heard that. It might have been that, but nothing currently on TV that I know of. That I recorded. I was like, nothing should be running on TV for me.
So Noveen, I wanted to ask you, how did you get the opportunity for Redfall? How did this opportunity come across?
So I got the audition from my agent, submitted to that, got the job. When I got the job, when I first auditioned, we didn't have what the character looks like. Sometimes they'll give you what the character looks like depending on the audition, and sometimes it will just say the description and the specs about her. But I ended up booking the job and went in to record over the course of a few months. And I got to record sometimes by myself, and other times we got to go in with my other voiceover castmates. We have Yuri Lowenthal, Adriana Colin, and Kamal Khan, and they are the voice of Jacob, Remy, and Devinder. And sometimes we did get to record together, which was really awesome. And I guess it was just preparedness, meeting opportunity, and luck and all that. Because when you record video games, you never really know the outcome of it. You'd hope that people are gonna perceive it well and are gonna want to buy the game and play the game. And luckily for us, people are really, really excited about it. So I'm happy to have had the opportunity to voice Layla, and I'm glad that they chose me. So yeah.
Awesome. How was your reaction to? I don't know if did you get a chance to watch E3, the video game?
I didn't get to watch E3, but they did show us the trailer like months ago, and it's been some time since then. So when it actually came out and other people saw it, my Twitter started blowing up, and I was like, "Oh, so we're doing this now? Okay, got it. I'm on board now."
Nice.
Yeah.
So when people recognize you on Twitter or on social media, what do they recognize you for? Is it for the voice acting in video games? Is it the voice of E Network or something else that you might have done?
If it's people who play video games and really into gaming, they recognize me from Friday the 13th, where I voiced Vanessa Jones, because a lot of them play those kinds of games. So they do recognize me from that. I've had a few people recognize me from Ellen. Once they see my social media and see the face, then they put it together and realize that. But it's usually based on some of the previous work that I've done, and other people who haven't seen the work that I've done will see that I did Redfall, and then they'll do a little homework and see what else I've done, and then they kind of figure out later, oh my gosh, I've been playing that game so long. She's the voice of that. I knew that made sense now, and it's so crazy to kind of see that. So I'm like, wow, well, thank you for supporting me for all the other stuff I've done in the past. And yeah.
Nice. So how long have you been in LA?
I've been in LA since 2012. So can't do math. 8 years now?
9 years now. Yeah.
9 years, something like that. Yeah, 2012. Nice. So like I said, I came over here for school, graduated, and then just been doing short films and stuff around LA since then. And just getting to know LA and learn the different places of it, going to as many beaches as I can and figuring all that out. But yeah, it's been crazy how time flies. And 2021, I'm still here and I'm way far in my career than I would have ever guessed I would have been. I didn't even think about voiceover in college. So it's crazy. So LA's been pretty good to me. Yeah.
Nice. Have you thought about doing any? I know you've been doing the commercials and video games and other movie things. Have you thought about doing any audiobooks and stuff like that, or is that sort of is it a goal or?
Yeah, I'm open to all kinds of like voiceover stuff they have out there. I love to challenge myself and try to figure out ways and different things that I have in me in a way that I can portray a character or sell a product to a certain kind of audience. Yeah, I've done like a few video games and I do a lot of award shows and stuff. I would say animation is something that I myself would love to continue working on. I feel like I still do need improvement in that. And there's different things that I can still discover for different characters and age and all that kind of stuff. Accents as well. I'm not very good at accents. I could start out British and somehow it would turn like Indian somehow. I can't keep it stable at all. So when I usually get those kind of auditions, I have to YouTube it first, kind of get it in my head and do the audition right away, or also just kind of slide into something else. So that's something I'm working to improve on. But yeah, I'm open to different kinds of avenues of voiceover that's out there and kind of expand my thing.
Nice. Yeah. Animation, it's blowing up. It's all over the place. Disney, DC, all the Cartoon Networks and all that stuff. So we'll be definitely looking forward to hopefully you landing one of those big time movies or get into a reoccurring TV show or something. So it's awesome. Yeah,
Disney's is my heart. If anyone who knows me knows I love Disney, anything about Disney. So Disney Channel has been like my goal ever since I started in this industry. So whether that's me on an actual TV show on Disney and I'm on one of their shows there or movies, or if it's voicing one of their animation movies or TV shows as well, even for Pixar, because I love Pixar. So I'm just like, I'm ready when you are, Disney. I'm ready to put you on.
Fingers crossed. You might have to reach out to a few people, Carlo.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, man, Disney is so vast now because they also own Marvel, and there's so much potential. There's so many opportunities. So I am definitely gonna suggest to Marvel that they'd be like, look at Queen Noveen, check her out.
Yes, yes. And I noticed your T-shirt too. I was like, Mickey, I can see it.
There you go. Be like, hey, Marvel Studios, there's a queen out there, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Right? Yeah. There you go.
So what has been out of all the stuff you've done, what is something that's been very memorable to you? Something that was really enjoyable, something you can recall? Any type of voice acting you've done or acting even at the theater?
Well, I'll do two of them. One, when I did a short film, for some reason, the horror genre follows me and I don't know why. I'm not mad about it. I love it. But I've done a few short films and short series where it's just me killing people. And everyone I've done, I have blood all over me. And it's just like, I've killed these 3 guys because they were just like following me or something. And then the other one, there's a killer on the loose and people still have blood on them for some reason. But that's been really memorable because fake blood is sticky and it's hard to get off. So it's just like a full-on shower after that. So I really enjoy that. I really love getting messy with fake blood. It's great. And then for voiceover, I would say award season. My first award show that I announced was the 2018 MTV Video Music Awards.
Wow.
So I'm the live announcer for that. So basically I'm the one opening the show. I'm the one in between the commercials. They call you the voice of God because you're basically the voice of the show. You're carrying the show. You're guiding people through the show. So it'd be like, welcome to the 2018 MTV Video Music Awards, live from Los Angeles. Like that kind of. Coming up next, Miley Cyrus performs. Da, 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 da. And that was my first award show ever. And after doing that, I was like, yo, I want to do one of these every single year. I have made that like something that I'm like gonna do every single year. I need to have a voice award show every single year. And it's been so thrilling. And I've been doing that so far, which has been awesome. The year after that, for 2019, I voiced the E People's Choice Awards. And it was after that E decided to assign me full on. And so I've continued to do the E People's Choice Awards since then. So nice. I love award shows because everything's live. There's no room for mistake. It's thrilling. It's exciting. My parents are more worried than me because they're like, oh my gosh, aren't you nervous that you're gonna like mess up a word or you're gonna like forget something? And I'm like, no, this is exciting. This is great. I love it. Yeah. And they're like, okay, good luck. I love it so much. So yeah.
When you just did that 2018 Miley Cyrus, the first thing I thought was I was watching it on TV, right? Yeah. it just took me there for some reason. Oh my God, that's now now when I'm listening even more often to that, and that's cool that you explain some of the stuff on the back end of that, because when you're watching award shows on TV and you're just sort of just watching, and you hear someone telling you about what's about to happen, who's next and who's presenting and all that stuff. You just hear it, right? But now it takes I got a whole new perspective about it now. That's fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. I was like, let me give you guys a little example because not a lot of people understand exactly what that is. And then once they hear it, they're like, oh, I put this together now. Got it. Yeah. So, yeah, thank you.
Nice. Yeah, that has to be exhilarating because you don't want to mess up no one's name.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of practice beforehand. You're there basically the full day because you do rehearsals during the day, you full run through notes from the directors, the producers, everyone. And I have this giant binder where it has the scripts and just like pronunciations and everything you can think of about the show. So it's pretty awesome. And the cool thing is, since I am like the voice of God on the award shows, I get to go basically anywhere I want on the premises. So I get to check out the red carpet. I'm basically backstage already. I get to go on the scenes and see where they're filming and stuff. Because I do know a few people from when I worked at the theater in Hollywood that also works these shows. So it's good to see them again, like every year. And it's just like, this is such a fun event. And I'm so glad that I'm able to do this.
Yeah, so, massive networking opportunity too, right?
Oh, yeah. Met a lot of new people there, seeing old friends and old network people there. And it's great to do that every year. So I'm like, this is my absolute favorite.
Nice.
Yeah. That's gotta be so cool. And I never knew that stuff is done live. I thought that it was pre-recorded and then they play, it. But now that you told me it's live, I'm like, whoa. Oh.
Yeah. Half of it is live. The only parts that are pre-recorded is the packages where it's like best hip hop video, Khalid, like all those people. We pre-record that because we already know who's nominated ahead of time. Right. And basically everything else is live, from like what I did before with the opening, the closings, the coming up next, in between, because sometimes things change last minute. So if they're like, we got to cut a line and we got to add a line, put that in, and I got to fit it in within that time frame, and we just got to go.
Yeah, celebrity decides not to no show, right?
Yep, it happens. Some of them have their egos and stuff, and I'm like, that trickles down to everyone else. It makes us stressed too, because now I don't know if I'm saying your name or not. And we have a whole contingency script, so it's like, please don't let your egos get to you, because the rest of us are freaking out because you want to come or not.
Or you can be like, well, they decided not to show, so you use your voice.
Oh my God, that's right. Will not be here because of their ego.
Yeah.
So, when you do the award shows, are you like in a specialized booth for to make the sound so amplified, so much louder, or is it just like a normal area, like backstage or upstairs?
Yeah, it's a backstage area. For MTV, it was in one of the trailers outside. So it was specifically the voiceover booth, have all my stuff in there. And then I have other producers who are with me, giving me notes and all that stuff of changes. And they have the mic right in front of me. And you don't see that it's like necessarily soundproof, but I think it's actually soundproof to the point that I don't really hear anyone outside, and it has to be absolutely quiet in there when I'm doing the live stuff, because it picks up anything and everything. But when the show is rolling, you don't really hear anything because everyone's inside. And for the People's Choice Awards, it's in the Barker hangar, which is at an airport, and it's just this giant hangar. They build the show in there, they build the set in there. So I have a room already in there, specifically to myself, and it's all soundproofed up. So when you close the door, you don't hear anything as well. So I always have like a little room, a little space to myself. And at the People's Choice Awards, they had a window so that way I could see everything happening outside. And it was directly in the path of all the celebrities walking by when it was their time to go on. So I saw Tracy Ellis Ross. She said hi, invites me each time. Jennifer Lopez in her red dress. I was like, I have the greatest view right now. This is crazy. Like, while I'm doing my work, and it's like casual. I was like, what job is this? Like, what?
Oh, that is really cool. You know, speaking of which, a question I do have, since you've done these, you know, live shows and award shows, has it ever happened where at any of these shows someone accidentally interrupts you as you're about to say something? Like, and they don't realize that you're about to say a line, but a producer or assistant might come by and be like, hey, you know, and then like, what happens in those moments?
Yeah, it's actually happened twice on 2 different shows. And in that moment, you just know to just like pick it right back up and finish that line before it cuts to commercial. And it happens in the headphones, because in the headphones, I'm listening to the director, producer, whoever it is. They count out the whole show and they're saying, cue this camera, cue that camera, VO stand by, cue, and go VO. And that's when I go. And sometimes you'll hear them yelling, but then there was one point where I was supposed to say something, and I think they had played something by accident. So it went over, like I heard myself going over myself, and I was like, that's not right. And it's like quick thinking in your head. So I started saying it, heard myself, stopped, waited a millisecond until they realized what they did and they stopped it, and then got back on my line and just said it until commercial.
Right.
So it's happened before. So you just have to learn to just pick it up and be quick and just finish the line. Most people don't even really notice, because I did ask my parents about that, and you don't really notice because there's like music going on and visuals, and it's just a lot going on. But voiceover, we heard that. And I remember playing it back the next day to the show, and I'm just like, oh, like, I hate that I messed up. I don't like messing up like that. But it was just, I guess, miscommunication in the back, and they just played something right when I was supposed to talk. And I think it was like a pre-recorded thing, but that was supposed to be live. But yeah, show must go on.
Show must go on. It's got to be intense. I mean, that's cool that you're able to quickly, you know, react and think and not sort of like panic and get it done, right? Yeah.
It's just like 6 senses on top of that, because it's a war, so it's live. Something could happen. So I'm like, if that happens, I know what to do.
Right. Yeah, and then you got like, okay, so you went through that, you got it done, right? Then it goes to commercial. You're really sort of like, oh my gosh, what happened? And you're thinking about it, and then you gotta get ready for the next one, right? So you're like, all right, the next one's coming. We ain't got time to really think about and, you know, and talk about it, right? It's just, let's just keep it going and and move
Normally
on,
they'll
right?
talk about it on the headphones and be like, oh, what was that? Oh, I did this by accident or something. They'll resolve it on their end. But I'm like, my only job is to listen for when he or she says VO go, cue VO. That's when I go. I don't go when she doesn't say it, but I'm like, she said it, I go, that's what I do.
Yeah.
So, and you follow along on the script too, but yeah. Like, yeah, just keep going. It's okay. We all lived.
Yeah. So you said you've been on a few podcasts here lately. You've been, you know, making your rounds. So it's pretty cool that you're actually taking the time and to come and say hello. We really do appreciate it. So, you know, I was like, you know, I got to reach out. I got to say hi because this is a great opportunity. Yeah, I'm excited. And just really, really, really stoked that, you are out here doing, great things and video games and stuff like that. It's just amazing to see and witness, and then being able to talk to you right now at this moment in time has been awesome for us. So I'm not into the show now or anything like that. We do got a few more minutes left, so I just wanted to make sure that I get that out of the way. So
yeah, of course. Yeah, it's been great. People reaching out to do interviews and stuff, and I'm totally willing to do it. I mean,
so real quick, one of the questions that I wanted to ask you before we do wrap up, what was one of the most challenging things for you as a voice actor or actor, any type of thing that you've done? What was one of the most challenging things?
I'll do both. For acting, I'm a type of person who I have a lot of emotions in me, so it's easy for me to bring the dramatic side out. And I'm also someone who can cry on cue. So when it came to one of the short series that I had to do, and it had to be like just like crying and tears and stuff all over the place, and kind of just like sobbing on yourself, that's a really deep thing to touch into, and it takes a lot of emotion and just mental stability out of you, because your emotions are just all over the place. You have a headache right after that, and it's kind of a blessing and a curse. A blessing because it's something that I can easily reach pretty quickly to kind of bring that emotion out of me, and a curse just because like the aftermath of all of that is just like drenched in tears, and I have a headache, and it's just like your body's unstable. But I do the best that I can to reach those emotions, to portray the character in the way that the director wants it for the film or TV series or anything like that. So it's pretty stressful in my mind. But for voiceover, I would say when I recorded Friday the 13th, there's a lot of screaming and yelling and choking on your own blood, and that's definitely not something I learned in voiceover class. So that's super different than what I know. So I kind of just went in there, and you scream like you scream, and you're hollering like you're hollering. And it's very hard on the vocal cords, and kind of get a little vocal fry, and your throat starts to hurt. And that's when we would take a lot of breaks, drink a lot of water. I would have a lot of tea. I ate cough drops like candy every time I did those recordings, because your throat after that is just, it hurts so bad. It's like if you're going to an amusement park and you're on a ride and you're screaming on the whole ride, and you come off and like it hurts. It actually does hurt. So we did take a lot of breaks in between those, and we spaced out the recording sessions over a few months. So it's not like every week, every day, vocal frying our throats. But yeah, that's something I didn't expect. So normally when I do auditions now, they will say in the audition email, this is going to have a lot of vocal stress. Be aware if you're willing to do that or not, just to let you know ahead of time. So it's good to know now what I'm getting myself into ahead of time.
Yeah, they'll be like, cut 52 on the screen.
Right, I'm like, that's fine, you better get it now. Good.
Like we loved it, we got it, but we want a little bit more pitch, like.
Right, exactly. And one thing for Friday the 13th is, I don't think many people realize, but when obviously she's running from Jason, she's pacing. So it's like doing that for like 10, 15 seconds for them to get that recording, you get lightheaded within 5 seconds. Mm-hmm. So quickly your brain gets lightheaded. So it's like, we did not do many takes of that. We didn't do that long. You got it. Because I'm already lightheaded and like going. So it's like, oh, this game was intense, but it was really fun.
Fantastic.
So is there any upcoming projects that you could talk about?
I do have one project that, well, before I say that, I do have one video game coming out that's not going to come out for like the next 2 years, I believe. And that one I did full mocap for, which mocap is motion picture. So they have the little either white dots or like white balls all over you, and you get that in the video game. Can't really say anything about that, but it's coming in a few years, however long they take. I'll just wait till it shows up on my IMDb again. So just find out then.
Tune into E3, it'll show up, and they're probably like,
exactly. Exactly. It's like, okay, that's what I did. Yeah. And then the other project that I'm doing is one that I'm creating on my own. It's going to be a YouTube/Instagram series, and it's called So You Think You Can Talk. And basically, it's going to cover everything about voiceover. So anything you've wondered about voiceover, things you want to know, if you're curious about getting into voiceover, it'll all be from my experience and what I've learned. And then in the future, I would love to have some of my other voiceover peers come on and share their wisdom and things that they've learned and tips and stuff like that. Because I know now a lot of people are trying to get into voiceover, especially because of COVID. Everyone's been home. So it's like, well, what can you do from home to help make money? And I know voiceover has been a popular thing. So like I said, I love giving back. So I would love to just give people my insight and things that might help them to get into kind of that world. And so I'm looking for that to come out in January 2022. So I'm pretty excited about that. It does have an Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter at So You Think You Can Talk. And Twitter is like SYTYCAT, something like that. Like So You Think You Can Talk series. I have it all on my Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that.
Nice.
So they do have pages, but there's nothing there. It just says coming soon right now.
Hey, we'll make sure that we put your links in our just shoot us your links. We'll put them in the in our stream also. So people can just click and take you right to your pages. So that's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah. So I'm hoping it'll help people out. And some people I've told already are pretty excited about that. So yeah, I'm excited for it.
Nice. Look forward to hearing and watching it, It's be cool. Get a different perspective of voiceover for sure. Yes, I think we've interviewed quite a few voiceover actors and actresses and over the time, and they all have different perspectives and different things that they've worked on. So it'd be great to see like an all up show talking about that. So there is an opportunity for that. So it's cool.
Water was one of the biggest recommendations to keep your throat moist. Yeah, like all day talking.
Right.
Definitely a lot of water. Just water. Your body needs it. You need to hydrate. But at the same time, you just need to take care of your body in general. With voiceover, your voice is basically your instrument. It's your money maker. So you need to be eating healthy. You need to be eating fruits and vegetables and getting an adequate amount of sleep and making sure you drink water. Because if you don't, that's going to affect your body, and we will hear that in your voice. So take care of yourself and take care of your voice, and don't smoke. Don't do any that you shouldn't. That's going to hurt your voice. I mean, I don't smoke. I don't know if it affects your voice, but I just don't do anything or even try anything that will harm that at all. But just take care of yourself. Yeah.
That's great advice.
Yeah. So as we wrap up here this time, the Queen, where can we find you on the interwebs, the Twitterverse?
So on the interwebs, you guys can find me at Noveen Crumbie on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just simply at Noveen Crumbie. Made it easy for everyone. Feel free to tweet me or send me a message. I do respond to those. So I love talking to all my fans out there and anyone who plays the games and stuff. I'd love to play with you sometime. But I think it's important to talk back to the people who are the ones supporting you and buying your products and all that kind of stuff, to kind of just hear what they think and see why they love the game, and just interact with them. So at Noveen Crumbie, go ahead and follow me, send me a message, tweet me, and I'd love to hear from you guys.
Awesome.
Yeah, very exciting. And also, don't forget, Redfall is coming out eventually. And that game looks to be fantastic from the E3 trailer. A lot of us cannot wait. We're super excited because it is going into Game Pass. And I'm sure once that drops, you are going to get a lot of gaming fans on your Twitter.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, my Twitter's kind of blown up already. So that was new for me. So now I know what to expect for the second round of that.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well,
all right, Queen. Go ahead, Carlo. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, thank you for hanging out with us. It's been so much fun talking to you and getting to learn about you and the different things that you've done and teaching us about how award shows work and that that awe moment and Ellen. It was just all very cool to hear it from you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you guys so much for having me. This has been fun talking to you guys and talking about other different stuff in my life that I haven't really dove into, like you said, the awards show. So this has been great. I appreciate you guys having me on the show.
Awesome. Thank you.